Hey, and welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Sam, and me on today. I'm joined by Connor.
Hey, guys.
And Mike.
Hello.
And it is time, once again, for the Game Awards 2023 edition. This year in particular is very spicy because we have a lot of high-profile games going at it for the prizes. And not to say that other years aren't interesting, but I do feel like this is probably the craziest Game Awards season we've had so far. At least in the time we've been doing this podcast. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. This year's been nuts.
It's been nuts, and I'm also curious, right? 2023, I feel like, was the year. It's like the Avengers Endgame, if you will, of the past few years.
Because all the COVID delays all lined up to one
everything
hellacious year of gaming.
Culminated in 2023. 2024 is kind of like an unknown period, fresh slate.
It looks like it's going to be a break year.
It's going to be so barren on good. Next year's game of the year is going to be so easy.
This isn't video games, but do you guys know there's not a single MCU movie coming out in 2024?
That's wild.
Yeah.
They need to
God bless.
Reassess though, right?
Well, that's partially because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike and such.
But I see these new MCU movies coming out, and they're getting bad reviews,
they're
which never happened before. Low box office returns. They got to figure that out. I don't know. Endgame was the end, right? You can't really go past
Endgame, I think, was the last really good one. Kind of been poopy since then.
That's kind of a tangent. I was just 2024 is going to be an off year for a lot of things.
2024 is going to be phase 4 of the MCU, but in video games.
Maybe. I will say, probably going to get a banger Monster Hunter. That'll be announced at the Game Awards. That's my theory.
Yeah. I do have some thoughts about what'll be announced at the Game Awards. I think we'll probably get a reveal of the Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
We'll probably... Actually, the huge elephant in the room, does GTA 6 get revealed at the Game Awards?
That's also probably a safe bet.
Because Rockstar did tweet out and say that we're going to reveal the game in December.
Yeah, December 7th is Game Awards, right?
That reminds me, I should probably get that day off from work.
Or is it the 14th?
Actually pay attention to that.
That's, whether you're a fan of GTA or not, GTA 6 is probably the most anticipated video game in history. It's going to be massive. So I'm curious from that perspective. If it's a game that I vibe with, all the better. But just from a macro point of view, I'm fascinated by that game.
Yeah, I'll probably play it one way or another, but I don't anticipate it's not going to be my game of the year that year. I can almost guarantee it.
Same.
I think I'll like it though. I like GTA 5 well enough.
Yeah,
but
GTA 5
I suppose
was fine.
As we go through this, we can shout out some predictions we have. But I say we get started because we have a lot of categories. A lot of things to discuss. And I don't know. I feel like generally most years we're pretty good as far as predictions go, right?
We do pretty well.
We do pretty well.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not perfect, but our predictions are usually on point. But...
Are you going to write them down this year so we have them easily?
Oh, why not? That sounds like fun, right?
Or I can do it, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, you want to do it? Yeah.
Whatever. I'll bring it up.
Less work for me. Okay. So let's start with best game direction. And the nominees at the Game Awards are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Basically the same as the Game of the Year nominees.
It's similar, but let me
minus one, right?
Yeah. It's going to be Alan Wake 2, though. And I don't think Alan Wake 2 is going to win Game of the Year, but best game direction. Alan Wake 2 is...
We talk about this every year, but game direction to me is kind of a confusing category.
Yeah, let me tell you why I think it's going to be Alan Wake.
Okay.
Alan Wake, Sam Lake, the creative director of Alan Wake 2 and Alan Wake and Control, I think, he is an auteur to the same extent that Kojima is. And that shows in Alan Wake 2.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And I have heard comparisons of this game to Metal Gear. I don't know if
I don't agree with those comparisons, but that's because to me those are derogatory, and I don't think they're meant to be. I just don't like Metal Gear.
No, they're definitely not derogatory. Because, I know you have a thing against Kojima, but Kojima's very lauded in this industry.
Yeah. Sam Lake is just, it's incredible. And Alan Wake 2, like what they managed to do, the way the story and the gameplay kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I think I agree with you. Let me be clear. Alan Wake 2 is the only game on this list I have not played. But the only other game, to me, that would make sense in this category, if we're talking about direction from like that lens, would probably be Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Right? I think it's between those two, but I really think
it's like a story-based game. It's very character-focused. It's, that sort of thing.
But I just really feel... I also just like, in the sense, like, when I see this, I think of best director, like in a movie. And Alan Wake and Spider-Man are the only two that even like a little bit makes sense for.
Yeah, I'm actually, I don't need much convincing for this. I'm going to go with Alan Wake as well, just judging by what I've heard about it.
Yeah, I think the only game I played in that list is Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
You played Zelda? What are you talking about?
Oh, did you say Zelda?
Yeah, Zelda's on the list, yeah. Zelda and Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Super derivative of its own kind of thing.
I've got lots of things to say about Zelda and Mario and like whether or not they belong, but I'm going to save it for later categories because I've looked ahead.
All right, yeah, let's decide this one. Alan Wake 2 is our prediction.
Yep.
Connor, you writing that down?
Oh, I got it. I was actually going to ask if you'd hear me typing.
I don't, which is great for me.
Yeah, really good for
in
everybody.
About 2 hours. All right, best narrative: Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Also gotta go Alan Wake 2 for me.
I feel like, and again, it sucks because I think the ones I haven't played are probably the best in this category. I think it is between Alan Wake 2 and Phantom Liberty. I've heard so many good things about Phantom
Liberty is super interesting.
Yeah, I haven't played Phantom Liberty. I have a really hard time believing it beats Alan Wake based on having played base game Cyberpunk. But I don't know. I don't think Cyberpunk could possibly be as interesting as Alan Wake in a meta and like weird kind of way. And both of those things really appeal to me. But that's obviously, that's not the same as quality. So it's hard to say. I would pick Alan Wake for this myself, but...
I mean, also want to... Phantom Liberty is one wild spy thriller, is what it is.
Yeah. It's also a DLC. I don't like DLC being on these lists, personally.
It's a full-size expansion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's full-size expansion. It adds enough to the game that I consider.
I do want to highlight here, right? Obviously, Final Fantasy 16, I hear it's really good, has a fun story, but I do hear it falls off towards the end. Marvel's Spider-Man 2, very good story, but also nothing that's going to like... It's not storytelling that'll blow your mind, right? It's Spider-Man. It's comfortable, you enjoy it, and then like you move on, right?
Yeah.
But for Baldur's Gate 3, the reason why I think it might have a chance at this is that the dynamic nature of that story, right? Like everything you do has an impact on that narrative, and it feels so seamless, right? Like you think of something, it's like the game almost dynamically adapts to it, but it is something the developer thought of. Right.
That's true, but as a result...
It's less focused, but it's impressive in a different way.
It is. It is impressive in a different way, but it can't be as nitty-gritty as like a linear, like one story can be.
I mean, Baldur's Gate never tells you no, though. That's the key factor of its narrative.
Baldur's Gate is incredible for a million reasons.
People like interpret this category, right? Like if best narrative just straight up means like best story in terms of like moments, beats, character, whatever, then it's probably not Baldur's Gate 3. But if they're thinking like the most innovative way to tell a story, it's probably Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, that's fair. But I will say, I don't think about the story when I'm playing Baldur's Gate. I don't care about it.
Not at all.
But when I'm playing Alan Wake, I don't think about anything else. Like, Alan Wake 2 has mediocre combat. It is largely a walking sim to me. Like, the combat was just okay that it was there. I was playing because I was so engrossed in the story. I had to see what happened next. I had to Like, I loved every cutscene. I had to hear the dialogue. I had to read the weird little notes you find around the place. Every time I found you can find manuscript pages, and I always had, it was optional, but I would always have them read it aloud to me and everything. You're just fully engrossed. It's an incredible story, in my opinion.
Yeah, so for this one, I could easily see Alan Wake 2 winning it. If not, Cyberpunk 2077 is probably going to win this.
Yeah. So, should I say Alan Wake 2?
Let's go Alan Wake
Cyberpunk?
2. Let's just go Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
But Cyberpunk 2077 is definitely, I could see it.
Yeah, I could see it too, because it is good. Cyberpunk just has a lot going on. It has almost too much going on that I haven't played it a whole lot.
Best art direction: Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like Hi-Fi Rush probably has to win this, right?
Hi-Fi
is so stylized,
stands out.
I would not give this to Hi-Fi Rush.
The rest are just realistic, other than Tears of the Kingdom, and Tears of the Kingdom really didn't do much on Breath of the Wild to differentiate itself art-wise.
I'm sorry, guys. You're saying this because you haven't played Alan Wake. It has some of the nuttiest visuals of any game I've ever played.
Right, but I'm not
talking quality
or whatever, right?
No, you can play it on a 2070 or something,
but I do hear that this game visually is
I'm not
disgusting
talking
with
quality here. I'm talking weird stuff they do. There are points where you are seeing two places at the same time, overlaid over each other, and it's a very pretty game, and it's not just because of it's not just realistic graphics.
Okay, I hear you.
I think this is between Alan Wake and Zelda.
I think Hi-Fi Rush.
You think Hi-Fi Rush clears Zelda?
I don't think Zelda did anything astounding visually. It was just Tears of the Kingdom, or it was just Breath of the Wild, but more.
And Breath of the Wild is beautiful in my opinion, right? But why I think Hi-Fi Rush is going to win this, even if Alan Wake 2 is more impressive, right? And maybe this is metagaming a bit, but look at all the nominations Alan Wake 2 has. I think this is the only nomination for Hi-Fi Rush. Oh no, that's not true.
No,
Hi-Fi Rush has
got
5 nominations. Yeah,
and I think it's probably gonna. I think Hi-Fi Rush deserves that. I don't think Hi-Fi Rush is that pretty.
It doesn't have to be pretty. I think the awards for creative or technical achievement, not how good it looks. It's
in artistic design and animation. Yeah,
it's how well the art style stands out, and Hi-Fi Rush pops. The rest of them,
it does.
Don't.
I would pick Alan Wake again for this one personally. It's nutty, some of the things that you see in this game, and it's not. It also it just Control, the FMVs in Alan Wake are crazy in their direction.
Okay. All right, so maybe we need to deliberate a little bit, but also I want to shout out, I think Super Mario Bros. Wonder is quite a looker as a video game as well.
If there was a most improved category, I'd give it to Mario Wonder, but I don't think it stands with... I haven't seen enough Lies of P to say one way or another, but I don't think...
Lies of P is basically just, from what I've seen, and I've seen quite a bit...
It looks like Bloodborne.
Because I've seen Northern Lion play it, but it is just Bloodborne, but Pinocchio, right?
Yeah.
So, I personally think Bloodborne, art direction wise, looks a lot better than Lies of P.
Mario Wonder is pretty, but it never had me sit back and enjoy the scenery like Tears of the Kingdom did. Even Hi-Fi Rush did a little bit, and Alan Wake. Just for reference, this was a game that I chose to play in 30 frames per second because I thought it looked so good. I had to crank up all the settings.
Wow,
that's how good this game looks. It was, and that's not a decision I make very often.
I don't know, man. I just feel it in my bones that Hi-Fi Rush is going to win this. This isn't... let me be clear. This isn't our personal picks. This is what we think will win.
Okay.
At the Game Awards.
Well, if I'm outvoted, I'll put Hi-Fi Rush.
All right. So we'll put Hi-Fi Rush for this one, and then we can eat crow if we're wrong.
Yeah.
And you can gloat, Connor.
Yes, I will. That will be what happens. Almost certainly.
Best score in music: Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
I feel like Tears of the Kingdom did some unique stuff with some instrumentation you usually don't hear in a Zelda area. And honestly, I think the main theme's kind of baller, but
the main theme slaps.
So
Zelda's the only
Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild. They're not video, like, for the most part. Like, you don't think of them as traditional video game scores, right? Like, they're so unique.
You know what? I'm gonna have to dive into spoilers here for Tears of the Kingdom.
All right,
the walk to the final boss, actually scored very well.
I think this is between Tears of the Kingdom and Alan Wake 2.
Like, I actually felt the sense of foreboding walking to the final boss. Because the track kind of slowly gains, like, instruments as you go further into the last dungeon.
Yeah.
And it's actually really well done.
Now, also the main theme of Tears of the Kingdom is just the only song of any game on this list that I could, like, hum, like, by memory.
It felt Zelda. It screamed Zelda in every single opportunity.
But also, I do have to point out, because I do think that this is a challenging
This is a very challenging
category.
Look
at Hi-Fi Rush is built around music, right? Like,
yeah, but it's not good music is the problem. There's it's extremely front-loaded with good music. The good music is all at the beginning of the game, and then it kind of isn't that fun anymore,
also,
in my opinion.
Final Fantasy 16, absolutely a contender here. I don't know if you guys have heard any of the songs from this game.
I've heard other Final Fantasy music, and it goes hard, yeah.
It's so hard. It's crazy.
This is another one where I'm super... Baldur's Gate, I don't think.
Baldur's Gate, don't get me wrong, I really like the music in Baldur's Gate 3, and I actually, like, can hum the theme. Like, it's pretty memorable, but, like, I just don't think it holds a candle to...
It's good ambience, but it's not...
Yeah,
Alan
Zelda,
Wake 2
Final Fantasy, Alan Wake 2.
At the end of every chapter in Alan Wake 2 has original composed songs that I don't believe play anywhere else in the game. And they're songs, like, that they're totally optional and skippable. And they're, like, relevant to what you just did. And you sit and it's just a song you sit and listen to while nothing else happens if you want to. Like, they went, and there are a lot of, like, there are musical, like, it's really hard to describe why the music in this game is so good without spoiling it. I will say, I think there's a really good chance Alan Wake 2 wins this. And I don't know that it'll necessarily be because of quality of the music. I think it'll be because of how the game uses it.
I think it's a close race between Alan Wake, Final Fantasy, and Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so tough.
My pick is Alan Wake. Alan Wake sweeps, like, all but one award it's nominated for me, I think, in this... Also notable, Alan Wake is tied for most nominations in the Game Awards this year.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, which is nuts.
I don't know whether that's recency bias or...
It's not. It's just not. It's such a good game. I didn't expect to like it. It's really good.
I think we might have to do a 3-way split here.
Okay.
Connor says Alan Wake 2, Mike says Zelda, I say Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
You say Final Fantasy?
Yeah, dude, the music in that game just goes so hard.
And all right, Mike, you said Zelda.
Yeah, I said Zelda.
Okay.
Best audio design, Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4.
This is Hi-Fi Rush, right?
First off, Resident Evil 4, I'm
Dead
precluding
Space
from any awards. I honestly...
But again, Mike, remember, we're predicting, right? It's not us. We're predicting what they'll vote for.
I can't let a remake win an award.
Then we can't do Dead Space either.
Yeah, I can't do Dead Space either. Honestly, though,
why Dead Space? Why?
I hear
it's
it was
terrifying.
Really good,
the audio design makes that game terrifying.
Sure.
Like, you hear these creaks, you hear these noises in the space station.
Is it more so
there's something behind you?
Is it, like, more so than the original?
I never played the original, so I don't know.
I found the original extremely boring. Like, I just don't get scared.
They, like, revamped the whole, like, the whole, I forget what the system they created for this game. Where, like, every time you enter a room, there's a chance enemies could, like, randomly come at you from, like, a different direction.
I just mean it wasn't scary. Like, I don't know. Horror games don't click for me very often. And, I don't know. I think it's Hi-Fi Rush. Just
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is. I mean, this is Hi-Fi Rush's whole thing, right?
Yeah, this is its category. I have a very hard time believing anybody else.
It's basically a game built around audio design. So.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for anybody else to win this to me.
All right, we can give it to. I'm okay with predicting Hi-Fi Rush here.
Yeah,
but I do want to note that I think Dead Space has a chance.
Okay,
I want that in the record.
I will put that in the record.
All right, Mike, are you cool with this?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Okay. So moving on. Best performance. Okay, so Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16. I'm assuming he's like the main dude, Clyde or whatever his name is.
This is a hard category.
Cameron Monaghan, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Idris Elba, Cyberpunk 2077. Melanie Liburd, Alan Wake 2. Neil Newborn, Baldur's Gate 3. Yuri Lowenthal, Marvel I can't talk today. Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Yuri Lowenthal is good.
He's so good. Yeah.
I have a problem
Dude, Asterion from Baldur's Gate, also insanely good.
That's my problem with this category, is I think it should have been the 6 characters from Baldur's Gate, kind of. Like, Baldur's Gate blew my mind in what an RPG vocal
to have that
could
level
be.
of voice acting. It's just a cut above any other RPG.
I mean,
Yeah,
I want to
like-
shout out Melanie Liburd, if that's how it's pronounced, in Alan Wake. I assume
Yeah,
that's the
I
woman who
apologize
plays.
if I mispronounced any of these names.
I assume she plays the protagonist, Saga Anderson. Everybody in Alan Wake 2 is bringing the heat. I do think this has to go to Baldur's Gate. Like,
Yeah.
Do you all think that the fact that a huge star like Idris Elba is on here will make them just like pick
No.
him?
I
No.
genuinely don't.
Like,
All
his
right.
character was interesting, but Baldur's Gate kind of elevated voice acting.
It did.
Yeah, for me, this is between Yuri Lowenthal and Neil Newborn.
Yeah.
Newborn? I don't know.
I
Oh
don't
man,
know.
Asterion is just so good though. Ah man.
No, so I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 in a long time, so this is one where recency bias is getting me and making me like lean Melanie Liburd, but I think I've never started a game and been so shocked at a performance as I was in Baldur's Gate 3. And maybe that's just because I'm so used to like stiff Bethesda dialogue, but like
No, it's not just
It blew
that.
my
It's
mind, yeah.
actually exceptional. Yeah.
I've already written down Neil Newborn.
All right.
yeah, where's
I'm good with
Starfield's
that.
dialogue? Come on, that dialogue
all
was
right.
beautiful.
Did Starfield get
Such
any
a good
nominations?
game.
You know
I
what's
think
messed up? Every once in a while, there's a line delivery in Starfield that I'm like, man, if they could have done this like with any consistency, this game would have been
I
like.
think it's a conscious decision though. Bethesda's all about like that robotic kind of delivery.
It's such
which
a weird choice.
I don't get it. Anyway, innovation and accessibility.
I don't use accessibility settings, so this one's really
Yeah, this
hard
one's
for
tough.
me.
Diablo
Yeah.
4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6. I'll be the first to say, I really just don't feel qualified to make a
Yeah,
vote here.
I'm almost.
I don't know why
Yeah,
these games
I
are
don't feel
accessible.
anything.
I know Hi-Fi Rush had no rhythm mode, like where it kind of took out all the rhythm gaming stuff, so you could still play it. That's cool. That's not enough
Yeah,
for
but
me to say.
I
I think
mean, I'll be
Forza
honest,
had
like-
slowdown mode.
I don't know what these games did.
No,
right?
me neither.
So I'm
Especially
just
Mortal
too-
Kombat and Street Fighter. I don't know what they. I guess they probably had newbie modes.
Right, the newbie modes, but is that what they're talking about?
I don't think so. And when I think of it, that's not accessibility. Accessibility
Right.
is like what Naughty Dog does, so
Yeah.
that people.
It is a
differently
little
abled
strange.
people-
I think this is the first time this category has kind of stumped me because the last few years at least there were very notable examples we could point to and be like, hey,
Well, I think it's between that and also like those things are becoming so much more common now,
it's harder to stand out.
which is a
yeah.
brilliant thing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would be very proud, even more so than any of these other categories. I think this is a category to be very proud you got nominated for.
Yeah. But I'm gonna abstain for this one simply because I don't know the
I
details.
have
so,
nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
Next,
abstained. Games for impact.
I didn't play any of these games, and
Thought-provoking
I'm
Harry
game
playing.
with a
Mills
pro
me.
social meaning or messaging. A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terra Nil Venba. I did not play any of
I'm
these games.
embarrassed that I didn't play any of these, because usually I've played at least one of them.
I've
Terra Nil
heard
was
good
neat.
things about Chance of Sonar.
I've heard good
Goodbye
things about...
Volcano High made me cringe just looking at the trailer.
Yes.
Chia looked kind of neat,
I've heard good
but I
things about
don't know
Chia.
anything about the other three.
Terra Nil... Terra Nil was probably the most fun of all these games, if I had to guess. It had...
Did you play it?
No. I just... It's the only one of these games I've heard anybody say was, like, strictly fun. Like, people weren't playing it for its message or anything. They just thought it was fun. But
yeah,
there were a
I
lot
hate
of
to do it,
complaints about
but
it
I
being
kind of want to
short.
abstain again.
Yeah, I want to skip this one.
I'll vote Terra Nil.
Okay.
All right.
I'll write that down.
Hey, it's Devolver.
Actually, if we're saying which one we
high
think is
watermark.
going to win, it probably is Terra Nil, actually. I didn't even think of that, but
Okay, yeah, go for it. I legitimately have no idea what's going to win there. So
yeah. Chia looked good to me. It's like on my list of games I'd like to play.
it looks neat. Yeah.
And I think I might even have Venba installed because I think it's on Game Pass. But
Apparently,
I haven't played it.
Goodbye Volcano High was received really well, but I just can't
can't get
man.
over the furry
I just
stuff.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what gets you.
What am I, a Sonic fan?
It was impactful for the furry community. That's why it's on here.
Best ongoing game. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Our nominees are Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077.
Why is Cyberpunk on this game? Or on
Because
this
Because it
game?
got an
deserves an
expansion,
award.
I guess.
It's
they
not
did.
an ongoing
For
game,
finally
though.
being good, I
Yeah.
guess. Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. I just can't see anybody but Fortnite winning this.
I also agree Fortnite, but doesn't Genshin Impact win this like every year?
Yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Fortnite, I gotta
Honestly,
say,
Cyberpunk did a lot. Like,
Cyberpunk
it
did do a
changed
lot.
the
Dude,
game
I just can't see
radically.
Cyberpunk
I
as an
don't-
ongoing game.
I
though.
don't
It
consider
is.
it an ongoing game because it's not.
It's
It
done
got
now,
a
right?
DLC.
Like everything else is still going, but Cyberpunk's finished with the DLC.
Yeah,
It
it's
wasn't
kept
getting
patches
content.
for 2 years. No, it's been
Yeah.
getting content for 2 years.
Has it? I thought it
Yeah.
was. No, the
No, they've
anime
been-
tie-in doesn't count.
No, they've been adding content to the game for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I still think it goes to Fortnite.
Like the transmog system was added like a year ago. Yeah, they've been kind of adding features to the game.
They were finishing the game.
I mean, that's an ongoing game for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it goes to Fortnite because Fortnite had its highest play count ever. A couple, like, they're doing OG Fortnite right now, where they, like, went back to the
Yeah,
original
I
map
saw
and
that.
stuff, which is terrible, by the way. That map is trash. It's so boring to play right now. It's
Oh, really?
actually killing the game for me and my friends how bad the original map and guns are. It's just not fun right now.
Yeah,
What?
I guess it's just nostalgia or something. Because
But
like
that-
that was the one thing that made me almost reinstall Fortnite. I was like, ooh.
No, I
It's
was
back to the
excited to
old
see
stuff.
it and all. And I'm still like, it's funny to see it. But it's funny in a like, God, how did anyone like this kind of way? Like, it had no vehicles. You couldn't swim yet. The water wasn't deep enough. And you like, ammo is really scarce and guns are really scarce. And like, I only play zero build. I don't like the build mode. So like,
Yeah.
the maps are super simple because they were expecting you to build stuff. So there's nothing to it. It's just
Oh, yeah, that's a good
boxy
point.
buildings. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's huge open fields everywhere. It's terrible, but it is fascinating to like watch it go through because we're on like, it's changing the map every week on Thursdays, I
Oh,
think.
wow.
So we're in the second iteration right now. It changes again in 2 days. And that's interesting. But it is like every week me and my friend Whitney hop on and we play around and we're like, nuts. Another week without any good Fortnite to play.
That
But it
being
had, like-
said, Fortnite wins.
Yeah, no, I think it still wins because it had 50 million people get on to play it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't know enough about Final Fantasy 14 and Genshin Impact. I know those are massive, massive games, though. You know.
They are.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're just gonna go with Fortnite here because it makes sense. But I would not be surprised to see basically anything other than Apex Legends win this.
No, people hate Apex right now. Some serious Apex. I mean, I'm one of them. If Apex has one hater, it's me.
Yeah, it's kind of
But-
bad right now.
Dude, I feel like I might have jinxed us, right? Like I was like, hey, we usually predict pretty well. Like I have a feeling we're just gonna like miss all of them in this time.
Dude, I don't think
But
so. I think
We'll see.
I'm on fire. This is the hardest year ever to do this, though.
It is. That's very fair. Yeah, this is the hardest year.
So our next up, this is the one that
community support.
Yeah, this one I think Cyberpunk might get. So you want to go back to reading our canons?
Why is Destiny 2 on this?
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
true. So true.
Because Bungie nominated themselves and thinking that they're doing their community well.
Can we get a worst community support?
Oh my god!
Can we get a most layoffs?
Destiny doesn't deserve a single award.
The nominees for best community support are Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky.
This is between Baldur's Gate and Cyberpunk, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky?
No. Slow year for No Man's Sky, I think. I just think No Man's Sky just isn't interesting right now in the way the Baldur's Gate and Cyberpunk are, in my opinion. It didn't have any huge...
Okay, so maybe you guys can enlighten me. Why do you guys think Baldur's Gate 3 could win best community support?
It's had a lot of bug fixes and patches.
It's had like 3 to 4 patches, which are pretty good, right? Like they fixed a lot of stuff.
It also did however many years of the community being involved in its development.
Yeah,
and early
plus
access.
everybody involved with the game is very vocal with their...
That too. Yeah, and transparency, like they're very open about the Xbox port and how it's going.
Yeah.
It's not really the patch. Like, if we're talking patches and making the game better, it's Cyberpunk. If we're talking actual engaging with your community, like, the voice actors have been, like, doing the memes and stuff with people on Twitter
that's
for Baldur's
Gate.
True.
I didn't consider that.
Huge. Yeah. So it's very hard to choose between these two. I kind of lean Baldur's Gate.
You've convinced me. I think it's Baldur's Gate. Like, I forgot how involved, like, all of those actors kind of like blew up after this game came out. Like I see them on YouTube and like shorts and stuff all the time now. Like they're super into it too, which is cool.
Are you good with Baldur's Gate, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, my personal preference is Cyberpunk, but Baldur's Gate, yeah.
I'll write that down so that you can say I told you so.
For the record. Best independent game. The nominees
I'll tell you what it ain't.
are Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, Viewfinder.
Dave the Diver is not an indie game, y'all.
Nexon made it, right?
Yeah, like, not an indie game in any way. I see so many people online arguing that, like, it looks like an indie game, so it's an indie game. If Nintendo released a pixel art Mario tomorrow, are we going to be having this conversation?
Yeah, like, it's an independent Mario, you know?
Yeah, like, no. Dave the Diver, it is genuinely... It hurts the legitimacy of the Game Awards that Dave the Diver is a nominee for this. It's insane. And it makes me really mad, if you can't tell by my yelling.
Yeah.
I think
it's Cocoon.
I think Dredge. Dredge was unique enough in its
concept.
What?
I honestly think it's going to be Sea of Stars.
Ooh, a 3-way conflict. I could see it being any of the 3. I lean Cocoon. Do we want to just call this one a disagreement?
Let's call this a 3-way split.
Yeah.
Makes the results more interesting.
Yeah. I need longer to type that, though.
Well, while he types that, best debut indie game. The nominees are Cocoon, Dredge. Insane that those are both debut indie games. Wow. Pizza Tower. Also that, yeah. Venba and Viewfinder. Oh, man, that's tough. That's really tough. I feel like Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, any of the 3 of those could take it.
I think for like the first game a studio's ever made, Pizza Tower oozes like
Pizza Tower oozes charm. Yeah, Pizza Tower should have been on. Pizza Tower is what should have been instead of Dave the Diver.
Pizza Tower
on best
oozes indie.
I don't
From its
think
like 90s aesthetic.
Yeah, it does ooze indie, and it's super charming. It's the most charming game on this list, in my opinion.
Because it oozes 90s like platformer aesthetic, like 90s PC platformer.
But like as far as like, I'm so excited to see what comes next from this studio. Gotta be Cocoon. That game is.
I want to see what comes out of the Dredge studio.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think the first 3 options here are all like extremely strong. Man, I think the Game Awards will vote for Pizza Tower. That is my prediction.
Okay, I'll just put Pizza Tower if we want to do that.
Do you think it'll be Cocoon? We could split.
I think it will be Cocoon, but I don't care enough to split on this one. It's too close. It's too hard.
Yeah,
I could see Pizza Tower for the meme. Like, Pizza Tower probably had the most players of any game on this list, so that helps it because it's going to have the community vote.
Man, this next one, I don't know if I could vote on either.
I voted for Monster Hunter now.
Best mobile game: Final Fantasy VII, Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star. Oh, it's going to be that for sure. Monster Hunter Now, Terra Nil. It's got to be Honkai Star.
It's probably going to be Honkai. I do want to shout out Monster Hunter Now. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, like I can't hear people don't shut up about Honkai Star Rail, man. Like
YouTubers don't.
It's crazy.
Does it even
Trains are cool.
Have trains? It's like a sci-fi thing, right?
I have no idea what Honkai Star Rail is. None. I have no idea what genre of game it is. What
it's
you do in it.
Game.
Yeah, it's for sure gotcha. I've actually heard good things about Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Not gonna lie. I'm not even joking. Like,
is it like an Animal Crossing kind of thing?
I believe if I'm right, yeah, it's an Animal Crossing kind of thing, and like people like it.
I have no idea what Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is either.
Me neither. If I had to guess, it's probably a gotcha game.
It's got to be Honkai Star Rail. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I want it to be Monster Hunter Now, but it won't be. Nobody's played. I've never seen another human being that's played Monster Hunter Now.
Yeah.
Honkai Star Rail.
Horrible name, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater for that game.
Oh, this next category makes me sad.
Best VR AR.
I haven't played any of these.
The nominees, I've played a few of them. Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synapse.
I feel like it's going to be Resident Evil.
I think it absolutely has to be Gran Turismo 7.
Really?
It's that VR is so transformative for that game.
Remind me how this works, though. Is there like an academy that votes for this, or is it just the public vote?
No. So the public vote accounts for, I think, 10 or to 15%, or maybe even 20, I forget, somewhere in that range of the overall weight of the votes.
It'll be Gran Turismo.
The academy, in quotes, is like game reviewers, not publishers, but game reviewers, critics, or whatever, all over the world. So it's not just like US focus.
So I think the public is going to vote Resident Evil because they didn't play any of these. And they did play Resident Evil and really liked it.
But the public has very little weight.
Yeah. So I could see it being Gran Turismo. I do believe that is probably transformative for that game. And I don't even know what Synapse is.
Neither do I. So maybe we're speaking from ignorance. Humanity is cool as well, but I don't think that needs to be a VR game.
Yeah. And Horizon Call of the Mountain, I just don't think there's not enough to it, I don't think.
I mean, it's cool, but like motion sickness is the big thing for that game. Like, I can't get over it.
Is it not a tech demo? It looked like
it's not. It's an actual game.
It looked like a tech
takes
demo
like
to me.
10 to 15 hours to play or something.
Oh my god. That's a long time to be in,
Yeah.
That's longer than
it's a game.
Half-Life.
Or maybe hold on. I want to verify this. How long to beat Horizon Call? 8 hours. So that's a game.
That is
15 hours to
sensible
100%. So that's a game.
That is a game.
You know?
That's a game. That's a game to the same extent Half-Life Alyx was.
Yeah. But
I've never heard anybody talk about it except you, though.
Yeah, I only played it for like 10 minutes before I like vommed, Yeah.
I put down Gran Turismo. Do you have an opinion, Mike?
No, I didn't play any VR games.
Yeah, me neither. My headset's been gathering dust. It makes me sad.
Yeah, VR struggling right now.
We ready to move on? Yeah, best action
game. Oh boy. The nominees are Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Remnant 2. This has to be Armored Core, right?
This has
highly an Armored Core.
It's a From Software game. They have to win their awards.
Ghost Runner, like I haven't played Ghost Runner 2, Mike. The first one was one of the best like action experiences I've ever had. Like it was so good. But it was so intense, right? So if Ghost Runner 2 is like better, I could see that winning, but I think the clout of From Software is just too high, right? Like I feel like Armored Core 6 is going to win this.
Me too.
Remnant 2 is also a big one, though. Like, people have been really into that, but I really strongly believe it's Armored Core.
I think it's actually insane Dead Island is on the nominees for this.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Dead Island, I didn't play 2, but 1 sucked. One of my least favorite games I've ever played. And not really an action game.
All right, so are we all in agreement? Armored Core?
Yeah. Armored Core.
All right. Best action adventure game.
This is so hard.
This is out. Okay, the nominees are Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, The Legend of Zelda Tears. How do you compare these 5 games as action adventure games?
So let me tell you. So we're saying the best action adventure combining combat and traversal and puzzle solving. So I'm going to say Alan Wake is out because the combat is buns.
I mean, if we're combat traversal puzzle solving, it has to be Zelda, right?
It has to be Zelda, in my opinion. It's
'Cause,
between
like,
Zelda and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2
The
has
puzzles are
combat
bad.
and traversal. It has A-tier combat, triple S-tier traversal, probably better than any video game ever made, and then like F-tier puzzle solving, right? That's how I view Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah, and I would say Zelda has like A-tier puzzle, A or B-tier combat, and like
A
B-tier
I would say
traversal.
A or B tier traversal too. I love traversing in that game.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
But
I'll let it have it. So I think it's Zelda.
action adventure though, like
It's
let me.
Their definition is troubling.
You know what? Do you know why I'm hesitating? I think there's a very strong chance Resident Evil wins this.
Yeah, that'd make me mad.
I think there's a very strong chance.
I don't understand why. I don't think there's a best horror game category this year, which is kind
There
of crazy.
has to be, right? There's so many horror games.
Yeah, but
this
I don't
year.
think there is one. And
That's wild.
like Resident Evil and Alan Wake 2, I wouldn't put either of them under action adventure. I think that's nuts. I don't think
Because Resident Evil 4, I mean, if we're thinking action adventure as in like a third person, like story driven, game, Resident Evil 4 basically created that genre. And it to this day, it holds up really, really well, right? Like the remake was phenomenal.
I
So
will say I'm with Mike. I'm not giving any. I hate giving anything to remakes. I don't like.
No, I'm with you. If it was up to me, Resident Evil 4 would not be.
I don't think it's gonna win. I think Zelda. I think Zelda's gonna win this. I'm gonna say I think Zelda wins this because I don't think Zelda wins Game of the Year. So I think it gets
tough.
This.
All right, I think let's just for the sake of spiciness, I think it's very likely Zelda wins this, but put me down for Resident Evil 4 here as what they'll vote for.
Okay.
And then on the follow-up, we can, agree, disagree with whatever the Academy chooses.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Oscars. I don't agree with anything they pick anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they picked some good games in the past.
I don't put
actually.
any weight on what they pick. This is what I'll say. It's not that I don't agree.
Yeah, I mean, the games speak for themselves, right? Like them
For
choosing it doesn't do anything. Best RPG. I wonder who's going to win this one.
This one's a massacre.
The nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, Starfield. Baldur's Gate 3, no discussion.
Shout out Starfield for getting a nomination.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like Baldur's Gate 3 is going to
Baldur's Gate 3
this.
clears this. Unless you're Northern Lion, who's really campaigning.
Oh yeah,
Lies
Northern
of P.
Lion's going to campaign hard for Lies of P.
I hate Lies of P even getting a nomination for best RPG.
It's not an RPG.
It's not it's an action. It would make more sense under action adventure.
All right. Yeah. I mean, we're
it's
all in
Baldur's
agreement here,
Gate.
right? Okay.
Mike, do you want to make a stand for Starfield here?
Absolutely not. What are you wrong with me?
I don't know. You were really championing it over Baldur's Gate 3 for a while there.
Then he gained clarity.
Then the recency bias kicked away, and I realized that I haven't touched Starfield since it launched.
Yeah, me neither.
I put those 20 hours in for the episode, and then didn't touch the game ever again.
Same. Although I haven't finished Baldur's Gate 3 either.
I've been playing it, and that game just straight up never ends.
No, it's a lot of game, dude.
But, okay. Best fighting game, God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, Street Fighter 6. This is another massacre. It has to be Street Fighter 6.
I was going to say the same thing, but I didn't play any of these. I think it's Street Fighter 6 because it's the only one that looked... Well, no, Mortal Kombat 1 looks a little interesting to me because I am a weirdo who likes Mortal Kombat stories.
But as a fighting game package, and I'm the least qualified person to talk about this. I'm not a fighting game aficionado. Everything I've seen points to Street Fighter 6 being one of the most polished, one of the best fighting games.
For what it's worth.
Of the modern era.
You're probably the most qualified on the podcast because you beat me into the dirt in Fighters, Dragon Ball Fighters.
That literally the only fighting game I've ever played, like other than Smash.
And I wasn't
It's
terrible
Dragon Ball
at fighters, for the record.
But
I was just okay.
I mean, fighting games is definitely a big deficit on this show, right?
Yeah.
We don't have good representation for that whole world. But I would be shocked if anything other than Street Fighter 6 even comes close to winning this.
I agree.
Mike?
Yeah, I don't have any opinions about fighting games. I still
Best
play
family
Skullgirls.
game. Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Mario clears. I
want
say it.
Pikmin to win
Yeah,
this.
I want Pikmin to win.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder will win this for sure.
I voted for Pikmin, but yeah, Mario Bros. Wonder wins this easily. It also, like, Pikmin's not a family game. I don't agree with the category for Pikmin.
No, like you hand Pikmin to your 5-year-old and he's not gonna have any clue what to do.
Yeah.
Whereas when you hand Wonder to your 5-year-old, they'll be able to run and jump, right?
Party Animals, also excellent game. Doesn't really belong in this category either, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It
I mean, this Mario Wonder has to be the winner here. All right. Best sim/strategy game. Advanced Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. City Skylines 2. Shocking that that's on here.
Is it even out?
It is.
It's out and completely broken.
It
Remember,
shouldn't be.
you
Yeah,
played it.
it's completely broken. I knew it was playable. I thought it was early access.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4 clears.
It's got to be Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4 clears easily. I bet Advanced Wars 1+2
Connor,
is
if
good.
Fire Emblem wins, will you quit video games forever?
I'll quit the podcast. No, Fire Emblem doesn't win. Fire Emblem has a lot of fans, but it has a lot more haters than fans. And Pikmin 4 actually did really well.
I'm actually going to be watching this one with bated breath, because if Fire Emblem wins, I know you're going to have a seizure.
Oh, I'm going to be so mad, dude. Especially Engage, which is a
step
mid-Fire
down from
Emblem game.
the previous. Three Houses was really good, but
yeah.
I never even picked up Engage.
No, Engage, isn't it just a fan service, like the equivalent of Dragon Ball Heroes?
I don't know what Engage is. I just remember being stoked for a new Fire Emblem trailer, and it was this, and I was like, yeah, I'm out.
No, dude, I could see it being City Skylines if we're using if we're going by reviewers, because it's broken graphically, but as far as actual abilities and stuff, customization and everything, also it shouldn't be in this category because sim and strategy aren't the same thing. First of all, this is a dumb category, but I could see it being Cities Skylines. I want Pikmin 4 though. Pikmin 4 was
want Pikmin 4 to win, and I do think the show will pick Pikmin 4.
Okay, I hope so. I want Pikmin 4 to take something home because that game is just a masterclass in what it does. It's so good.
We all saying Pikmin here? Or are you diverting?
I'm on Pikmin.
Dude, I'm pickle-pilled if ever there has been a pickle-pilled person.
All right. Best sports/racing. Wild that these two are together, but okay.
Yeah.
EA Sports FC 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharge, and the Crew Motorfest. I mean, it's got to be Forza, right?
Yeah, I lean Forza, but I also just don't care.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Forza here.
All right, I put Forza. I don't really want to deliberate on one. We don't
Best multiplayer. This one's interesting.
This one's
Best
hard.
multiplayer game. The nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. These all have an argument to be made for them, I think.
Yeah, this is impossible. I don't think it's going to be Mario. Because while Mario has the best multiplayer of a Mario game, if I'm sitting down...
doesn't hold a candle to the other ones, I think.
I just don't think if I'm sitting down with my friends... If I'm sitting down to play a Mario game, I would rather play it with friends than not, arguably, for Mario Wonder. I would never, sit down with my friends and pick Mario as the game we're going to be playing on, a party night or something in the way that I would any of these other ones. I am a Diablo 4 hater, certifiably. I will say it did a really good job of,
it did.
Making multiplayer accessible. Baldur's Gate 3 is the dark horse on this one, I think, because it's
tough.
Weird.
Yeah.
I also never played it multiplayer.
It's fantastic that you can play it multiplayer, but I almost feel like it's stronger. I don't know. I can't say that.
I can't.
It becomes a different experience entirely when you do it multiplayer.
Yeah, completely. And I also I feel like if you're going to do it multiplayer, it would be at its strongest doing 4-player multiplayer. And if you pulled that off, you should turn off Baldur's Gate 3 and play Dungeons and Dragons.
Right, yeah.
Party Animals is really fun. Have you guys played it?
I've watched and I'll play it.
It's pretty fun. I don't know if it wins. It is fun though.
I think this is between Baldur's Gate, Diablo, and Street Fighter.
This of those, I would pick Baldur's Gate just because fighting games are niche and it's only 2 people.
But look at this. Outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences. Diablo 4 does all of those, right? You can do local co-op, you can do online co-op, and you can do massively multiplayer.
It does.
So
I can't argue.
I think Diablo 4 will win this.
Mike, you gotta.
That's gonna be my vote.
Yeah, for multiplayer, I really don't have an opinion on it.
I'm just gonna put Diablo 4 then. I think. Because it's just so hard. Frankly, all of these are excellent multiplayer experiences.
Yeah, this one's very tough.
Insofar as they're a good experience in the first place, which Diablo 4 is not.
I've said my piece about Diablo 4. I really think they had something brilliant and then they just made it worse with each patch.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, I didn't even hate Diablo 4. I hate addictive games. I think I bring baggage
so addicted to it, man.
Yeah, I bring baggage. I also Diablo 4 is one of those. It's designed to get you addicted and eat up your life.
It is,
and
yeah.
I have vitriol. I have a built-in immune system response to those. That is vitriol.
Man. So I just said that they made the patch. The developers literally had to come on camera and apologize after one of the patches. So with that taken into consideration, do we really think it'll win this? I don't know.
I don't. I would rather say Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay. Let's just split here. So we're makes it more interesting that way. Cool?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank God, another easy one.
Best adaptation. The nominees are
Super Mario Bros. Movie,
Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Twisted Metal.
Wait a minute. Wait.
This is a battle between 2 things, in my opinion.
No. Before we do that, Gran Turismo's out?
Oh yeah, it came out a month or 2 ago, dude.
Dude, I remember seeing trailers for it forever and not caring. I can't believe
I couldn't care
and
less.
I didn't know
I'm
Castlevania
sorry.
Nocturne was out either because the Castlevania Netflix series was really good.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't. Until they gave Death a Cockney accent.
So, yeah, it's got to be Last of Us or Mario.
It's The Last of Us. There's no way it's going to be the Mario movie.
You think so?
I don't think. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is good enough. The Last of Us is really good.
But didn't it also gross over $1 billion or something?
Okay, but that's not what this is about.
That's not what this is about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how the
faithfully
Oscars work.
and authentically adapts a video. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's The Last of Us. It's basically just the video game.
Gran Turismo is not a video game movie.
form.
It's just a video game adjacent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Twisted Metal was a thing.
The Last of Us was so. Obviously took some creative liberties, but it felt like you were just watching the game at certain points. No, it was astonishing.
I know I'm a certified Last of Us hater. I liked watching The Last of Us more than playing it. I really enjoyed that show.
All right. We're voting for The Last of Us here?
Yeah.
Moving on. Most anticipated game. Very interesting
stupid
here.
Category, in my opinion. I really don't like...
Didn't Elden Ring win this 3 years in a row or something?
Yes, I think so. which is another reason I think it's really stupid. Star Wars Outlaws. Or we should read off the...
All right, so the nominees are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. What a title, by the way. That's an insane title. Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8.
Don't we know nothing about Star Wars Outlaws?
Other than we don't know much about it. But look at who's making it, man. It's not going to be that good.
Who's making it?
Got him. Ubisoft?
Ubisoft? Yeah, I know. It's not... anyway, Hades 2.
Yeah, I voted Hades 2, and I did this. I think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth might
I was going to say...
yeah, it's very
in
tough
terms of
those two.
Who will... not ours, but what people will vote for, I think it's 100% Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Me too, but I am way more excited for Hades 2, and I'm not even a huge Hades guy, but it looks really good.
I loved Hades, and Hades 2 is probably my pick on this list. I'm voting for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I'm very confident that's what people will vote for.
I'm going to say Final Fantasy VII, but we wanted Hades.
Yeah. The record has been...
Let the record show.
Content Creator of the Year. I don't know any of them, but I'm going to read them out. Iron Mouse, People Make Games, Quackity, Spreen, and Cypher PK.
It's got to be People Make Games, in my opinion, because it's the only... People Make Games is like... Like, it's important. Like, it's not just content for content's sake. Like, People Make Games, I'm pretty sure they do, like, little documentaries.
You know what? You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to predict that Iron Mouse will win this simply because it's some animated girl.
That's fair. I don't even know that I want to jot down our prediction on this one because we're so uneducated.
I have no idea. Yeah.
The fact that Jacob...
Mike, do you know any of these?
What?
Do you know any of these?
No, I don't know. I know of Iron Mouse.
So,
see, man, that I'm telling you, Iron Mouse is probably going to win this.
So I just want to say, like, if we were picking our content creator of the year, because we're probably not going to talk about this again later, who would it be?
Northern Line, easily.
I would pick Jacob Geller every single year without failure.
See, okay. The reason why I would pick Northern Line, he's not good at video games. Most of the video games he plays are dead boring.
Horrible
but
boring.
He has this ability to make anything he does hilarious, including the bad games.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very powerful skill to have. Maybe his sense of humor just jives perfectly with mine, but that man entertains me every single time I turn on the stream.
He's funny, but I don't watch him play the boring games if I can avoid it. It depends on the boring game. I can't watch another second of Super Auto Pets for the rest of my life.
I've watched literally every YouTube video of Super Auto Pets he's put out for the past, 2 years.
What about you, Mike? Who's your
Pogging out of my mind.
I think Alfred.
Alfred.
Yeah,
that's not a bad pick.
Year.
He's a funny man. He's a
funny man. Also, what he did for all of his friends with all that money.
Yeah.
He literally went to Japan and spent thousands of dollars on gifts for his friends.
Yeah.
That's nutty. And then made a video on it.
Imagine if we had a friend that did that for us.
Yeah, absolute mad lad. Yeah, I wish.
Man, thousands of dollars, really?
It's just a little bit. Like, you could have went to the One Piece store at least.
Yeah, where's my straw hat?
Yeah.
No, mine's got to be
self-conscious.
You're not making $1 million a year off YouTube. I think it's fine. Actually,
yeah,
it's probably
but I could have gotten
that.
something small.
Yeah. No,
I didn't get anyone any gifts. If that makes you feel better.
No, for the record, I don't like souvenirs. I think I don't like physical objects that take up space in my house. That's not everything in my house for the most part has a practical use, except the cats, I guess. Mine is Jacob Geller, and I would pick Jacob Geller for this every single year. He's my favorite video essayist. He mostly covers video games, and he really elevates games as art. And it's also he covers a lot of smaller games. He was how I discovered Outer Wilds, which isn't really a smaller game, but basically if he covers a game, that day, typically, I'll buy that game and I will play it, and I can't watch his video until I play it because he usually spoils the entire thing, and I've never regretted that. Because
that's awesome. It's great when you find someone like that really 100%.
Okay,
you're simpatico.
He's not like a
reviewer.
Trust. He's looking at them as works of art and not criticizing them, but dissecting the meaning and the themes and things like that. And he often looks at things through different lenses and stuff. He's Jewish, so he's done a bit on Jewish mythology recently. That's been interesting to me because it's not something I know anything about. He did the Golem story, and I think there was some video game stuff in that, but I think there was some Wolfenstein in there, but it was mostly about historical Golem stories. And he's just really good. He has a long video about the insightfulness of Super Mario Galaxy. He looks for deeper meaning everywhere, and I love that.
I'll have to give him a look.
I'll shoot a recommendation into the Discord sometime.
All right. Alrighty. We're coming up on the end here. So, best eSports game.
Can we hold this category until after Game of the Year? Because it segues perfectly into games.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
It segues perfectly.
All right. Best eSports athlete. Do we want to do that?
Let's
Don't
pick
know
the
who these
hottest
people
one.
are.
I mean, Faker's famous, right? Let's vote for him.
I'm between Faker and Max for hottest. Max Demon 1.
Oh, hottest?
Yeah,
Is that what we're
hottest.
doing?
Yeah, I'm doing hottest.
Yeah.
I think it's between those two.
I don't know, man. Like, I really just don't know.
No, I don't.
Like,
I
have
don't
no
like
idea what's
esports.
happening. Like, why? I don't know why any of these people are like famous except for Faker.
What's Faker famous for?
He's like the god of League of Legends.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate him then. Let's just skip it.
All right.
The next one is best esports team. Well, let's read out all of them. We got Evil Geniuses, Fnatic,
From Valorant.
Gaiman Gladiators from Dota 2, JD Gaming, League of Legends, and Team Vitality from Counter-Strike.
So, I'm going to rest my case for Gaming Gladiators here. Purely because they started in the losers bracket of the tournament this year.
Oh, yeah.
Went undefeated all the way through the losers bracket and made it to the grand.
That's dope.
That's always something you love to see. That's
just
hype.
for the nature of them making it all the way to the end and still getting 3-0'd. But
no, that's a heroic
very
story.
Impressive story.
That was Gaiman Gladiators?
Yeah.
Or Gaiman? Is that supposed to be Gaiman?
It's
oh my
Gaiman.
god. Obviously it's Gaiman. Oh my god.
Gaiman.
Oh
watch too much anime there, Connor.
Oh
Dude.
god.
It's too much Ninja Gaiden.
Okay, I mean, yeah, we can throw in our vote for them. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
And that, there's one more.
Best esports
coach. The nominees are Christine Potter-Chi for Evil Geniuses, Valorant, Danny Zonic Sorensen, Team Falcons, Counter-Strike, Jordan Gunba Graham, Florida Mayhem, Overwatch, Remy XTQZZZ, Quonium, Team Vitality, Counter-Strike, and Yoon Hom Songyong, JD Gaming, League of Legends. I have no idea.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
Remy is like advanced bald. Like,
hold on.
He's pretty bald. Yeah.
I've seen bald, and that man.
Oh
that
yeah,
man
he's
is bringing his all to that baldness.
Oh my god.
And he's kind of rocking it.
I don't have a vote here. I don't know anything about what any of these people did. So
he does. Oh, it's because he doesn't have eyebrows either.
Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it.
There's just no hair. It kind of works. Usually that would be off-putting, but I think it kind of works for him.
Yeah, got that Super Saiyan 3 look.
I dye my eyebrows
Minus the hair.
They're blonde.
Okay. Does anyone have a vote here?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll skip it.
Best esports event 2023 League of Legends World Championship, Blast TV Paris Major 2023, Evo 2023, the International Dota 2 Championships 2023, the Valorant Championships 2023.
I mean, Evo I've heard of, at least.
Are we going Dota simply because Mike explained how hype it was for the losers bracket?
That's a good
point. Very hype year. I mean, the meta was kind of, but it was very hyped.
We'll give it to Dota 2.
Let's just give it to Dota 2. And I think now it is time. We still have the, best esports game?
First we gotta do
but
games.
first, let's have the discussion. What do we think will win Game of the Year 2023? And the nominees are The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. What am I forgetting? I did that off of memory.
Tears of the Kingdom.
No, I said Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, let me just read them because I have the page in front of me. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
So before we say anything, I just want to say, I feel like in any other year, all of these games have strong arguments to be Game of the Year.
I don't know that that's true of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, if I'm being totally honest.
You know what? Okay, that was the one game where I was just like, maybe not Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
I actually think there are games that got snubbed in favor of Resident Evil and Super Mario Bros. Wonder on this. But
see, the problem is Resident Evil 4 is a remake.
Yeah, I don't think
as
remakes.
A game, it's so freaking good. It's incredible.
It's not transformational enough, in my opinion, to be like there are some remakes that I would like say, okay, you might be allowed to get Game of the Year. I don't think it's transformational enough. At least from what I've seen.
As a video game, I think it deserves to be punching in this category. And I say that
Okay.
as someone who has played 5 of the 6 games on this list. But I don't think it'll win Game of the Year. Are you
No,
crazy?
The
Like-
Game of the Year on this is realistically between two things.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate's gonna win.
So hold on. I just want to bring up, right? Alan Wake 2 just came out, and whether we like it or not, there will be some sort of bias for that.
Yes.
And it's really, really good, and does transformative things for the genre. Allegedly, I haven't played it, but everyone says that. Do we think Alan Wake 2 has a legitimate shot at winning Game of the Year?
Nah.
Really?
Nah. Combat's too bad.
The combat is bad.
It's not that bad, but it's like a blemish on a, and it's also, I've heard a lot of reports of like bugginess on console, which is wild because that's usually on PC. I just don't think Alan Wake 2 is like incredible in any year where Baldur's Gate 3 didn't come out. And
Yeah.
I think Baldur's Gate clears it. I do. I would probably, if it was between Alan Wake and Zelda though, I would have picked Alan Wake probably.
Okay, so I guess we can skip the pleasantries, right? I think, despite the excellence of every game on this list, this is a battle between Baldur's Gate 3 and Zelda.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what they'll pick. Actually,
Can I tell you what's crazy about both of these games?
Yeah.
Both fantastically frustrating games to play at times. Like, I don't know that any game has frustrated me the way Baldur's Gate did when it
How so?
It let me move ahead and just hit a huge difficulty spike such that I actually had to revert my save because
that's crazy.
I had actually kind of soft locked myself and I had to replay I didn't have to replay, but I reverted my save and went and played maybe an hour of repeated content and probably 4 hours of content I had just missed.
That's the other thing.
To get to
There's
a proper
so
level.
much in this game. I would have a hard time believing someone, even if they're extremely thorough normally when they play video games, for them to see everything in one playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. There's a wild amount of content in that game.
Zelda is such a strong contender for Game of the Year, but it has a blemish that is so great. I just don't think I can give it. I don't think I could give it
What's
to
the
Zelda.
blemish?
The storytelling. And I want to separate the storytelling from the story because I don't think the story is bad. It's probably the best Zelda story ever. But the way that the story is told, they just didn't bother. It's so bad.
See, does that really matter for a Zelda game?
It matters so much. It takes a game that could have been maybe the best video game I have ever played and makes it frustrating. It is such a colossal blemish to not care. You finish the temple and your reward is that you have to sit through something boring. Not just that, but this massive underground world to explore. And when I was exploring Hyrule in Breath of the Wild, it was always exciting because I was like, oh, what is this in relation to what happened? What's the environmental storytelling here? And Tears of the Kingdom just doesn't do that, really. The environmental storytelling in Tears of the Kingdom, they added a whole... basically 2 more Hyrules, arguably. And there's nothing in either
wild.
of them.
We play Zelda for completely different reasons. I never once really cared about environmental storytelling or storytelling in general when I play a Zelda game.
It's not what I come for, but the fact that it was so bad in this game was notable to me. It just, and especially in a world, it took how many years did it take for Tears of the Kingdom to get developed?
Breath of the Wild came out in 2017, right? Tears of the Kingdom 2023.
I can't imagine they put longer than 2 hours into thinking about the story of this game. It's insane to me that it got no consideration at all in a world where we have and they use the excuse that it's a non-linear story in a world that has Outer Wilds, in a world that has I can't think of them off the top of my head, but so many examples of a story that you discover in parts around a world, and they just didn't. They could have just chosen not to do that, but instead they just did it bad, and is such a colossal blemish on an otherwise amazing video game.
I respect that opinion. It doesn't matter to me personally, but I appreciate why it matters to you. And one other thing I want to say again, this is something that turned a lot of people off of Tears of the Kingdom, where I thought it was one of its best aspects, the abilities, right?
Yeah,
like
the abilities. I'm mixed.
I think the abilities are brilliant, but
I do too.
A lot of people don't think that.
I'm mixed on them because they do make the game arguably too easy. There were puzzle solutions I found that were one size fits all. There were little things I could do that solved almost every shrine. And that was kind of lame, but I just had to not do that and find the real solution. And I also the traversal in the game was kind of fantastic until you realized that there was a right answer, and it was a solved game at that point. There was no reason to ever build anything other than a little glider thing with 2 fans and a control stick. And once you had that, the game didn't have traversal anymore. You just went where you wanted to go. And stuff like that, I don't see myself returning to Tears of the Kingdom for those reasons.
But the joy of building that for the first time and going, oh, it works, and having it actually...
That's fair. That's all really good.
That's a huge discovery, right?
I
suppose if you just look up a build list, it kind of ruins that for you. But
yeah,
this game very intelligently did a good job of introducing you to this is this part. It can do this. This is how this part could potentially be used, and then it gives you the creative freedom to be okay, I'm gonna combine these things from these various very diegetic tutorials that were presented to me, and come up with my own builds and discover things. Right, sense of discovery in that game, I think it did really, really well.
But Baldur's Gate has it too.
Baldur's Gate has it in a different way, right?
Yeah, but
Baldur's Gate,
you can just try anything and it feels like it works.
You almost feel like a chef or something. Yeah. You're I'm going to cook up this thing. It definitely won't work, and then it works, and you're holy moly! In that sense, right? Both creativity is a weapon for both Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. And it's fascinating that both of the top contenders, at least in my eyes, they give player creativity to a degree that is very unprecedented in AAA video games, I think.
I also think in terms of public opinion, Tears of the Kingdom was huge for 3 weeks, and then I stopped hearing about it. Baldur's Gate, I hear about exactly the same amount now that I did the day it came out. It has had colossal staying power. And
I think I agree. Baldur's Gate has had better staying power than Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears of the Kingdom was extremely.
It was huge.
It was huge, and it was really front loaded too, because
it was.
Breath of the Wild took Zelda from a very popular franchise to one of Nintendo's competing in the same tier as Smash Bros and Mario Kart, right? It really elevated this Zelda series, right?
Another thing for Tears of the Kingdom is that the only one other game had me kind of sitting in my chair laughing, in shock, the way that the opening of Tears of the Kingdom and also the finale of Tears of the Kingdom. The only other thing that even came close this year was Alan Wake 2. A few cinematic moments in it had me just blown away the same way Tears of the Kingdom
I can't comment on the finale yet, but I will say the opening to that game had me smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. The finale.
This is very tough. Okay. It'll be even tougher when we have to pick our game of the year. But I do have a sense, I think, of where people will lean.
I think it's Baldur's Gate.
I think it's Baldur's Gate. I think this game is such a dark... if you had asked anyone last year, what would the game of the year be in 2023?
If you'd asked
everyone
me
would have said Zelda.
The day before Baldur's Gate came out, I wouldn't have told you.
No one knew. No one knew how massive this game was, right? In terms of quality, breadth, voice acting, characters, creativity. This game just came out and it was a freaking hydrogen bomb, right? It immediately commanded everyone's attention, and immediately put Larion into an echelon of developers that like they're at the top now, right? They're in very rarefied air with this game.
Yeah.
Like, so considering all of those factors, right?
It's got to be Baldur's Gate, in my opinion.
I think it's Baldur's Gate. All right, is that it then? Anything else to say?
No, we got to do our esports now.
Yeah, just got to do the best esports.
Yes. Okay. So, and that'll dovetail nicely into the games we've been playing. So, best esports game. The nominees are Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, and Valorant.
So, as somebody who's played all 3 of these games,
there were 5 games listed.
All 5. Well,
all
PUBG
3 games that mattered.
Counter-Strike 2's new. I've played Valorant, League, and Dota. I recently dove back into Dota at like a decent level, and honestly, I'm having way more fun than I thought I would. Keeps rewarding me for figuring out how the game works.
Was Dota on the list?
How's it different from the last time you played Dota? Like, what changed?
Well, last time I played Dota, playing support was like pulling hair, and now you get handsomely rewarded if you play support. There's so many mechanics now that they got rid of that makes support such a better experience.
That's a substantial improvement.
Yeah, like wards no longer cost money. Wards give you a lot of money when you deward them. The little donkey doesn't cost you money anymore, and everybody gets their own. I'm
going to pretend to know what that means.
It brings you the items from the shop.
Yeah, the courier
when you buy them.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so many little things they do to incentivize playing support that it's wild that every game in randoms that I've played at any ranking has had 2 support players willingly play support. Not even like, oh, I guess I'll play support.
Yeah,
no,
that's not really something you hear in
support
like
character.
MOBAs. Yeah,
because it's just as fun. I've played support a couple games, though I've wanted to play like the most farmed carry a couple games, but support's still as fun. There's a lot of things for you to do across the map that aren't just starting fights. And I feel like League never delivered on that because playing support was like pulling teeth.
So I will say, why is PUBG Mobile on this list?
It's massive overseas.
Like the mobile version of PUBG?
Yeah,
not even like PUBG?
You go to like Southeast Asia or...
Mobile gaming's huge in Asia.
Southeast Asia
PUBG
especially.
Mobile?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was playing on the hardware they have.
With the demise of the internet cafe over in Southeast Asia, mobile gaming is huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's become a real problem for League and Dota. And
Are they not available on those platforms?
They're not available on mobile. But what happened in Southeast Asia, and this little tangent, is that previously, since people over there are on average, can't really afford a PC, it's kind of expensive to ship it out there. They'd go to a PC cafe where someone would already have the cafe, and they'd spend time playing games. Now that everyone can buy a mobile phone, suddenly mobile MOBAs and PUBG are very valuable.
Yeah,
and they're played heavily among Asia.
Dude, I want to say it's a little sad that the cyber cafe never really took off in the States. I'd be so
down for that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I live in this. I think there is one in Pittsburgh trying to get a footing, and it's called like LFG. I think which is short for looking for group for the uninitiated. Right. And it's not in it's bad real estate. I'd have to drive to get there, and that's just not how my life is anymore.
So I did want to bring up Counter-Strike 2, right? Like, this is a pretty hotly anticipated game. I'm the least qualified person to talk about Counter-Strike, but like, do we not think this one has a chance to win?
I think it might. I mean, it hasn't gotten its footing in the esports sphere yet. Dota's getting is very big over in the CIS territory, some of Europe and South America, surprisingly. Everywhere else it's for Mobile Legends. But no, I think the one that might win it, just based off of like audience vote, might be PUBG Mobile, honestly. Or Valorant.
But remember, audience vote only counts for like a small fraction of the actual weight of the...
Valorant might win it, or it might be legal.
Yeah, again, my lack of experience, I don't want to vote here, but Mike, what do you think?
I think it's going to be League of Legends. Everyone wants except for me.
But in your heart, it's Dota 2.
In my heart, it's Dota.
All right. I guess we already started talking about what we're playing. Do you have anything else to say about Dota 2, Mike?
Other than if you haven't played it in a while, get back into it. It's fantastic. Yeah, at the time, I guess it's because every game that I lost made me hate myself. But now that I'm an adult and I don't hate myself for losing a game, it's actually kind of nice.
Wow, that must be nice for you.
I love it. And League of Legends, now
League of Legends, you'll still hate yourself.
I don't even want to play League of Legends. It's a game that has lost my heart because it's just so badly balanced.
I just want to say, if you play League of Legends, you don't have to hate yourself because you can know that I hate you.
Yeah, you can know that Riot Games hates your game.
You can know that I'm here hating you for you.
I go in, it's a tale of two worlds. I go into the Dota subreddit just talking about like memes or everything. I go in the League subreddit and it's a different thread about how this class of characters is overpowered and why they should nerf them. Or wait, they overbuffed this character, we should nerf them. Constantly. And I think that's the difference in communities. League, Dota's much less toxic. Honestly, I have not seen as much like a League levels of giving up and just toxicity.
And I hold less reciprocated toxicity towards Dota. So,
like, people are actually like welcoming. People will realize that they're the bad ones in this situation and realize.
Wow, the self-awareness.
It's so nice to have people that are self-aware. And I'm at like bottom elo relatively. I've been playing with my brother the whole time. But yeah, it's been very pleasant, honestly.
That's good to hear.
It felt like, I think it's also because since like the announcement of all the South Americans and everything, which was after I quit, a lot of the people that spoke exclusively Portuguese and Spanish migrated, and it increased my quality of game much, much better because I could understand what we're saying. Because there was a long time you couldn't get on a match on the US East without having 4 people that spoke a different language.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It kind of felt bad. I'm like, I don't understand what they're saying. They're screaming at me in Portuguese, and I don't know what they're going on about. Like, it got bad. But I think the addition of extra servers in the South American region really. That's about all I have to say about Dota. I might play it after this fall.
If you're a relapsed Dota fan, worth another shot, sounds like. Connor.
I guess I'm going to start with Alan Wake 2. I've already talked about it a bit, but it is in the same caliber to me as Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3 this year. It is just, it isn't going to be my personal game of the year, I don't think, but what an amazing game. Just a little bit about the game. It's a third person kind of thriller horror game. There are 2 protagonists. You play as Saga Anderson, an FBI agent who has come to Bright Falls, I think it is. I don't actually remember the name of the town because it's been a few weeks now since I played it. But comes to this small town to investigate a murder that is believed to be linked to a serial killer, and it turns out to be a cult that they think is linked to missing writer Alan Wake, who is the other protagonist of this game. And as you play, you learn that there are some supernatural things afoot. Alan Wake is trapped in what's called the Dark Place, and he is there writing manuscripts. Maybe he is writing them, maybe someone else is writing them, it's a little unclear. And when he writes there, it affects reality. So, he is writing a horror story there, and it is coming true in reality, but also he has to write it because it changes the Dark Place so that he can get out. And it has some really neat analogs.
That's a wild premise. I had no idea. I had no idea Alan Wake was even supernatural. That's crazy.
It's, oh my god, yeah, it's all supernatural. Yeah, you play a Saga Anderson and you're essentially like, you're fighting some supernatural stuff, you're solving some mysteries, and it's really interesting. The writing in this game is really good because Saga and her partner Alex Casey, her partner's name is Alex Casey. Alex Casey is the hero from Alan Wake's detective novels. However, it doesn't seem that your Alex Casey was created by the story. He existed first. But he does look exactly like the Alex Casey that appears in the Dark Place. And in the dark place, you run into you don't run into Alex Casey. You run into the actor that plays Alex Casey, who is named Sam Lake and is played by Sam Lake, the lead writer on Alan Wake 2.
Wild.
And yeah, so it's meta all the way down. It's kind of crazy, and it also is like it has some really fascinating comparisons where Saga is trying to figure out the story, as in solve the case that she's working on. And so she has like a detective board with strings and stuff in what's called her Mind Palace, which is, I think this is controversial. I really liked it when Fable 3 did it, but when you pause the game, you actually go to a location. For Saga, it's the Mind Palace. For Alan Wake, it's the Writer's Room. And in that location, it's kind of diegetic. Like you have the plot board, you have it just kind of all of your menus are actually represented with items here. And I like that, and it's a nice use of fast loading times and stuff that you can just hit start or select, I forget, and you're in your mind place or your writer's room. And it has a really cool comparison where Saga has her board where she is trying to figure out what happened, where Alan has his board where he has to decide what happened because he's writing a story. And the duality there using mechanics is just so interesting to me. And it's also like pointed out that Alan Wake might not actually be that good of a writer, which is kind of funny. And it's just very trippy, and it gives you everything you need to kind of solve some of the mysteries before the game does, which I love. And I was doing that. I was deeply engaged with the story the whole time I was playing it. The only complaints it also has like incredibly good visuals. There are places called overlaps that you go as Saga, and it's a place that is both reality and the story at the same time. And you are kind of sometimes seeing both of those at the same time, and the visual effect on that is very trippy. I don't want to spoil too much. There's also like one chapter of the game that is called We Sing that is probably my favorite thing I saw in a video game this year. If you know, you know. It's crazy how good it is. I
did hear there was like an equivalent of controls like Ashtray Maze in this game.
Yeah. I hope nobody knows what that is because it's kind of a spoiler, but it's insanely good. It is in the same conversation. I will buy any future Remedy games day one, like after playing this. It was so good. I'm fully sold on everything. It's also maybe like graphically the prettiest game I've maybe ever played. Kind of crazy. Like this was a game that I willingly I was playing it on my TV at first, but because I was having trouble with frame rate, I switched to my monitor because it's a little lower resolution. And but I wanted to crank all the settings up on this game and play it at 30 frames per second, which I did, and it was nice. It was super, super gorgeous. My actual beef with that is that some areas of the game, particularly in the dark place, would perform really, really well. I would get 60 FPS or higher in those, even with ray tracing maxed out. And then I would come back to the Saga sections that are not in the dark place, and there was a lot of foliage and stuff, and it would drop back down to 30 frames per second and kind of remind me that was what I had chosen to do. Other than that, I don't love the combat. Make sure you get the shotgun before the first boss.
I hear this game is genuinely scary. Is it scary?
The games don't really scare me. I think it is a brilliant horror story. It has jump scares, and I would say that they're very well placed. It did put me on edge, but I wasn't like shouting or anything. Like it didn't make me jump out of my seat or anything like that. I don't know what people are looking for when they look for that. I think you'll be satisfied if you like scary games. You'll really like Alan Wake if that's what you're looking for.
No, I mean, I just got to play this game. I know at this point that it's a masterpiece. It's just finding the time to play it.
It's a brilliant game. It's also not terribly long. It's like 15 hours. 30.
Oh, I thought it was like comparable in length to like Control, which was like much longer than that, I think.
No, I thought it was going to be too. It wraps up kind of quick, but satisfyingly.
No, that's a good thing. Like I prefer like
No,
games under 20 hours. That's the ideal length.
I have complaints about this game, and it is that I got to the first boss without the shotgun, and it took me I was playing on normal mode. There's 3 difficulties. I don't believe that there's any reason to play this game on hard, and frankly, if I were to play it again, I might play it on easy. I just don't think the combat in it is that interesting. It's like point a flashlight at a guy until he becomes corporeal, and then shoot him a bunch of times. The combat is a good tool for to keep you engaged and on edge, but it's not like I don't play it for that, if that makes sense. And the boss fights were once I had a suite of weapons, the boss fights were kind of a cakewalk, but when I got to the first boss only having the starter pistol, which was a mistake on my part, and it took me I swear 30 tries. It was so frustrating, I almost put the game down. And then also there are a few parts in the game where I think the puzzles flow really well, and they're not hard to solve, or at least not frustratingly hard to solve. But there's a few parts in the game where you just have to find an object, and it was on a cluttered table, and it was literally a room I'd been in a dozen times because it made sense that the item was there, and the prompt to pick it up just didn't show up for me. And then I Googled it and found out that it was in the exact place I'd already looked 4 times, and that was very frustrating.
Was that a glitch or something, or?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a glitch or if I just didn't walk close enough. I don't know. I've heard that there are glitches like that happening to people, but in my case, I really don't know. I just didn't see it. It was like a fuse, and it was really tiny, and it was on a cluttered table. And I was never going to find it if I didn't Google it. I don't feel like I really spoiled anything for myself there.
Yeah.
It was not a super
totally
satisfying puzzle.
Similarly to how I had to Google the last puzzle in Outer Wilds.
Oh, yeah. Most people did. Or not most people. A lot of people did. It's very frustrating. But it's very hard to if you're not opposed to scary games, it's very hard to recommend anything higher than Alan Wake 2 for me that's come out in the past few months. I really liked it.
So many good games to play.
Yeah.
This will be one of the first games I play in 2024, for sure.
For sure. It's a shame you're going to miss the autumnal horror game, though. Because it is for sure a horror game.
You think I should save it for October?
No.
That's a long time to wait.
No, I wouldn't. As long as it's still cold outside, you're probably good.
Yeah. All right. You have anything else to say, Connor?
Not about Alan Wake. I have another game.
Okay. Let me interrupt your flow here, and then we can come back to you because I only have one game. So I have been playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not going to talk about it today, but just a brief update. Long game. Still in Act 2. Don't know if I'll finish it.
God,
Probably
you're still
won't.
in Act 2?
Yeah.
I think I'm at the boss of Act 2. I think. I haven't fought it yet.
It's just so long, man. It's crazy.
And I might be wrong. There's no telling. It feels climactic, though.
But I have been playing Pokemon Emerald, and I'm doing another Soul Link Nuzlocke with my friend, Ranga.
Nice. Friend of the show.
And this one, we're stepping it up a notch. This one is randomized. So our starters were randomized.
What'd you get?
Our encounters are all randomized. And it's Soul Linked, right? So I explained this in one of the previous episodes where I talked about Pokemon Fire Red, but the Pokemon that I catch on the route is tied to his Pokemon and vice versa. So if one dies, the other dies. And it's led to some very hilarious combinations. I think one was he encountered a Deoxys, and I had what did I have, man? I had an Aeron, yeah.
Oh, Aaron's not bad.
No, yeah, so that we
Those
were
are both pretty
hype.
good. Yeah,
we were hype about that. But the dangerous thing is you got to get Aeron to survive and evolve, and Aeron evolves very late.
Oh,
right?
really?
So Aeron is pretty weak, but what he turns into, Aggron, really, really good. And I'm sad to report that my little Aeron did not make it. So Ranga lost his Deoxys.
He must have been so mad.
Oh, man, I will tell you, this one has been a lot bloodier than our normal playthrough, right? Our
the random ones always are.
And we're also imposing level caps this time, so each gym leader is a threat, right? Flannery, believe the 4th gym leader, That sounds right. Flannery like nearly ended our run. Like,
Flannery was always a hard spot for me. Like I did a Nuzlocke, like a normal Nuzlocke, and Flannery was a real problem for me in Emerald.
Yeah.
She's tough.
But yeah, we it's very challenging. But I will say it feels so good revisiting Pokemon Emerald. Because to me, Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, that is my childhood, right?
Yeah,
like,
same.
That is the Pokemon generation that I have the strongest feelings of nostalgia for.
You and I both had it on our games that made us list, yes. I believe.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you, Mike?
What?
Have a Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald on the games that made us list? I thought
that might 100th episode?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me look in the Google Drive.
Okay. It's not that. We don't need to know that bad. I don't remember.
But anyway, yeah, so we had a very dangerous run-in with Flannery, and we had to, obviously, right, like, so you catch, like, the first Pokemon that comes up on every route. And if you miss it, then you miss the Pokemon for that route. So we've had some very critical misses before. Like, I think... there was one where it was like Bulbasaur. I had a Bulbasaur and he had a Ghastly. And Ranga accidentally clicked run away. So we just like lost it.
Oh,
but Ranga's been getting some pretty insane luck. He has so many starters. He has like a Typhlosion. He has a Wartortle.
Oh my
God. Has
He's a hacker.
A lot of good stuff.
He's cheating.
Whereas my team is not quite as impressive, right? Like, so after Flannery like dog walked us, my current team looks like this, right? So I have a Machamp that is tied to his Typhlosion.
Pretty good.
I have a Xatu that is tied to his Ludicolo.
Not bad. Not great.
I have a Lapras that's tied to his Pinsir.
Okay.
I have a Medicham that's tied to his Seaking. I have a Mr. Mime that's tied to his Wailord. And I have a Pidgey that's tied to his Machoke.
Oh, so he's stuck with the Seaking and the Wailord.
Yeah, he's stuck with the Seaking. I'm stuck with the Pidgey.
Yeah.
It's, it's all about finding a balance in these, right? So,
yeah.
But we lost some pretty... Actually, hold up. I could probably just like pull this up. We lost some pretty significant Pokemon, right? So let me go in to my graveyard here because we keep
you keep
the
them in the box.
Who we lost in a box just so we can like stare at their like corpses or whatever. So I lost Quilava tied to his Nidoking.
Woof. I
lost Marowak tied to his Sandslash. Aron tied to his Deoxys. A Slugma tied to his Wartortle. And a Flygon tied to his Pelipper. So those are the casualties so far. And I mean, they hurt, right? Like those were some pretty strong Pokemon, but we're getting through it. Hopefully we won't wipe. Like it's pretty challenging, but it's a lot of fun revisiting this game in this new way.
Yeah.
All right, Connor, what else do you got?
I picked up this one. This will be a quick one. Will it? Fortnite OG is fun, but bad. Like the original map is bad. I feel like I spoke enough about that earlier. I also picked up Party Animals, and it's really fun. It's a good, just chill game to play with some buds. It's hard to even... It reminds me of the best parts of Gang Beasts. Like, it reminds me a lot of that game, but I like it a lot more. The fact that it has online multiplayer, and I just like the art style more, I think. It's really fun.
Are you playing it, like, with friends, or, like, online
I've
or
been playing it with my friend Whitney. Yeah, I think you...
Okay.
I don't know how many people you can have in a party and play it online, because you get... Most of the game modes, you're in teams of 2, and it's like elimination, like whoever's left standing at the end is the winner. There are a few game modes that have bigger teams, like there's like a football game, there's a soccer game, there's it's like one where you have to carry balloons back to your side, there's one where you have to carry candy back to your side. So it's a little like Gang Beasts meets Fall Guys, kinda, but it doesn't have the variety of Fall Guys, I would say.
Man, Fall Guys was really kind of something for a while there, wasn't it?
I still play it every once in a while. I love that game.
Yeah. You got anything else?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
You're good?
What about you, Mike? You got any others?
I'm good. I have nothing.
So I do have something I want to point out that I wish I'd pointed out earlier in the episode. But as a hater, just a general certified hater, I think it's really funny that Hogwarts Legacy had 0 representation in the Game Awards.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the game that changed everything. And
the game of the decade.
Faded into obscurity.
I think the people saying that were Harry Potter fans. I don't think in any realistic view it would be game of anything, you know?
Kind of just funny to me that it had nothing. Like,
they really thought it was going to be the best game of the year, and then 2023 happened and it faded into obscurity. I don't even know if anyone's talking about it.
I have friends that are still playing it.
I mean, it is the best-selling game of the year.
Is it?
It is. Before Modern Warfare 3 it was. I don't know if Modern Warfare 3 outsold it, but
and it hasn't even come to Switch yet, I don't think.
Yeah, it's sold a lot. But, you know, in terms of quality, this year it just had way too much for it to keep up.
Yeah. Is it the best-selling game of the year? The
feel free to look it up.
Google was Tears of the Kingdom.
No, Hogwarts Legacy has outsold Tears of the Kingdom via the MPD, who report sales data each month. I'm a huge nerd for this kind of stuff, so
where is that?
Just Google NPD sales, and then go to year to date, 2023.
Okay, yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, and then Tears of the Kingdom. And
Tears of the Kingdom, Diablo 4. This might change with Modern Warfare 3 coming out, even though it's like pure dog water, but we know how Call of Duty operates, right?
So I'm not saying that it's wrong. Why is it that when I Google the question best-selling game 2023, every single result says Tears of the Kingdom is the best-selling game?
The NPD is 100% reliable.
Okay.
Like, everything's wrong and the NPD is right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just confusing. I don't know why.
Yeah. The NPD is like the video game sales analyst group.
Okay.
But anyway, any closing thoughts as we round off this episode?
No thoughts at all.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what wins Game of the Year, like, it's been a heck of a year for video games, man.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we should do an episode on business and games at some point, though, because it has been a horrible year to be a game developer.
It is. Yeah,
we should cover it at some point. We probably have some time before the Game Awards, and it.
Oh yeah, we definitely do.
It's embarrassing the way these companies are run. They are run by morons. It is catastrophic to the health of the industry.
Absolutely.
Like, just to point out, most of the amazing games that you played this year were made by teams of veterans, people that have been given the opportunity to work at the same place and build up enough experience to make a masterpiece. And when you see these layoffs from these companies and these mergers and everything, that is them saying, we don't care. We're never going to build that environment. Like, that's what they're doing. They're never going to give people the opportunity to become someone that can make a Tears of the Kingdom or an Alan Wake 2 or a Baldur's Gate 3 or a Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And even Modern Warfare 3, right? Like, I feel really badly for those developers, right? Because originally, Modern Warfare 3 was not supposed to be a game. Like, it was just this year there was supposed to be an expansion for Modern Warfare 2. The people at the top decided to make it a game.
Yep.
And the developers worked nights and weekends to get this game out in time, right?
Yeah.
They broke their backs for something that was poorly received, right? Like, can you imagine working like that, putting it out, and then everyone just crapping on it? And then you knew, like, obviously you'd know it'd be bad because, like, you know, it's just a horrible situation. But
versus Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which, from what I've seen, I haven't looked super deep in it, was made by younger developers with no deadline, given largely free reign to make a good game.
Yeah. I do think this warrants an entire episode. So
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Maybe we should cap the discussion here, but a lot to talk about there.
I agree. Especially because people aren't going to listen this late in the episode.
Right, yeah. Like, the second I start telling people to, like, subscribe or wherever, people are already, like,
clicking off.
Clicked
they
out.
Don't know we have a Discord.
But anyways, you know, you should like, rate, and review us on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcast services you use. Click the link in the description of the podcast to join our Discord and talk to us there. Follow us on Twitter at GameTalk Podcast, right? I don't even know. Like, that's it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you, Connor and Mike.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Oh, it's at Podcast Game Talk.
Ah, shoot.